There's a table in a room you'll never be told about until you're already sitting at it. The men around you are laughing. One of them is your uncle. Another held you at your baptism. And somewhere between the wine and the silence that follows, every single one of them has already considered what it would take to kill you. Not out of hatred, out of structure. That's the part no one outside this world understands. In the Sicilian Mafia's commission, love doesn't protect you. Love is what makes the system work. Because only the people closest to you have enough knowledge to judge when you've become a problem. You don't start at that table. Nobody does. You start as a whisper, a teenager in a Palermo neighborhood where certain men never seem to work but always seem to eat well. You do favors, small ones, carrying a message, watching a doorway for an hour without asking why. You're not recruited, you're observed. For months, sometimes years, someone is measuring whether you can hold silence the way other boys hold grudges. The moment you prove you can be trusted with a small secret, you're tested with a heavier one. And the weight never decreases from that point forward. It only compounds. Your first real rank is Uomo d'Onore, man of honor. There's a ceremony, a pinprick of blood, a burning saint's card in your palm, an oath that sounds ancient because it is. But the oath isn't really about God or honor. It's about jurisdiction. You now belong to a specific family, a casca, and that family belongs to a territory. Your loyalty is no longer emotional. It's geometric. You operate within borders that are invisible to the civilian world, but as rigid as any national boundary. Cross them without permission, and the correction is not a conversation. As a soldier, you earn. You enforce. You learn which silences are commands and which are warnings. But more importantly, you learn to read the man above you, your capodicina. The way a sailor reads weather. His moods dictate your safety. If he's rising, you rise. If he falls from favor, you are guilty by proximity. There is no human resources department. There's only gravity. The jump to capodicina is where the game changes. Now 10, maybe 15 men answer to you. Their mistakes become your mistakes. Their ambitions become your threats. You attend sit-downs with other capi, and for the first time you feel the presence of the structure above you. The capo mandamento, the boss of your district, who answers directly to the commission. You start to understand that the mafia is not a gang. It's a government that never declared itself. It has districts, parliaments, foreign policy, and it has a death penalty that requires no trial, only consensus. When you become capo mandamento, you are no longer a man with power. You are a vote. You now sit on the cupola, the commission itself, alongside every other district boss in Sicily. Decisions about territory, alliances, assassinations, drug routes, political infiltration, they all pass through this body. And every man at the table has the right to raise a question about any other man at the table, including you. Especially you. This is the part the title warned you about. The commission doesn't operate like a court. There's no defense. There's no appeal. If enough members believe you've become unreliable, too greedy, too visible, too independent, too close to an informant, too ambitious in a direction that threatens the balance, a vote is called. And the men voting are the same men who kissed your cheeks at weddings, the same men whose children played with yours, the same men who once trusted you with secrets that could bury them. That trust doesn't make the vote harder. It makes it more precise. Because they know your habits, your weaknesses, your roots. They know which morning you take coffee alone. The kill, when it comes, is almost always intimate. A car ride with someone you've known for 20 years. A meal at a restaurant you've been to 100 times. The Sicilian Mafia doesn't send strangers. Strangers create witnesses. they send family. And here is the contradiction you were never warned about when you first held that burning card in your hand. The higher you rise, the fewer places you can hide. As a soldier, you are anonymous. As a boss, you are architecture. You hold too much weight. You know too many names. You've been in too many rooms. And the structure that elevated you is the same structure that can't afford to let you walk away. You are no longer a man who joined an organization. You are a load-bearing wall. And when the building decides to renovate, walls get demolished first. Some men survive decades at the top. They become myths, Riina, Provenzano, fugitives who ran the commission from farmhouses and handwritten notes. But even they were eventually consumed, captured, betrayed, replaced. The system doesn't retire its architects. It buries them or locks them away, and the table fills again within weeks. Because the structure was never about any single man. It was always about the structure. So you rise. You rise because the alternative is stagnation. And stagnation in this world is just slow death without the dignity of a vote. You rise knowing that every promotion is also an audition for your own elimination. You rise because power in this system is not a reward. It's a lease. And the landlords are sitting right beside you, smiling, pouring your wine, waiting to see if you'll give them a reason. And the worst part, the part that keeps you awake in a house with too many locks, is that you'll never know if tonight's dinner is a celebration or a goodbye. Because in the Sicilian Mafia's commission, those two things have always looked exactly the same.